number 29, Trenton Ueda. Batting third, first baseman number 7, Cole Manuel. Batting cleanup, right fielder number 19, Cal Anthony. Batting fifth, designated hitter number 44, Noah Giovanelli. Batting sixth, left fielder number 20, Caden Isola. Batting seventh, catcher number 33, Wyatt Bohannon. Batting eighth, first baseman number 3, Jet Huffman. And batting ninth, center fielder number 1, Seth Green. Now it's time to meet the starting lineup for your Colorado Lumberjacks. Leading off for your Lumberjacks, center fielder number 18, Tyler Vaughn. Batting second, left fielder number 20, Caden Clifford. Batting third, first baseman number 22, Parker Fagans. Batting fourth, designated hitter number 34, Elias Rainier. Batting fifth, shortstop number 9, Zach Perry. Batting sixth, second baseman number 12, Bryson Satterley. Batting seventh, third baseman number 26, Gino Macarini. Batting eighth, catcher number 6, Quinn Lubrafka. And batting ninth, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider. And on the mound for your Lumberjacks, number 31, Brandon Hagedis. Fans, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another presentation of Colorado Lumberjacks baseball, coming to you live from Rock Canyon High School in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Gusty Tuesday evening. Winds blowing in from left field in. Ben Camps are thrilled to be with you tonight as the Liberal BeeJays have come to town for Game 2 of their 2-game series to take on your Colorado Lumberjacks. Last night, the Game 1 was an absolute shootout. If you want to leave it at that, the final score 16-11 in favor of the BeeJays. Taking a look at their lineup tonight. Pretty much hits all around the entirety of that board. Caden Isola was able to get in a couple RBIs last night. Cole Manuel came in late in the game, delivered 3 hits in a pinch hit situation. Seth Green led off the game yesterday with a triple. He'll bat 9th. Cal Anthony batting in the 4th spot once again was able to deliver on a 1-run home run. Cade Adams, who hit a 3-run shot, not in the lineup today. And they're going to be going up against Brandon Hagedis on the mound, coming from Dickinson State. Only 2.1 innings pitched so far this season, giving up 3.85 ERA right now. But in that 2.1 inning outing for Hagedis, 4 strikeouts. So this is a guy who is well-versed in getting swings and misses, and that's exactly what the Lumberjacks are going to have to do tonight to get a victory against the Liberal BeeJays, one of the oldest franchises in wood bat baseball, dating all the way back to 1955. coming from Liberal, Kansas. Originally from the Jayhawk League, now in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League.
Leading off for the BeeJays, first baseman number 12, Ben Finnegan.
In their first season in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League, coming from the Mile High Collegiate Baseball League, and we are set to go from Rock Canyon High School. Leading things off, Ben Finnegan, the first baseman, a lefty, will lead things off for the BeeJays. Last night we saw the BeeJays go lefty, lefty, righty, lefty. We'll see if we have something similar, and we are underway officially. Game time temperature 86 degrees. A little bit of a cooler evening than it was last night, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast. Winds blowing in from that left field pole. We saw 4 home runs last night. Unsure if we'll see that today as Finnegan pops it up. Shallow left field, camping under it to make the grab is Caden Clifford, and he will get the first out of the game for Hagedis.
Shortstop number 29, Trenton Ueda.
Now Trenton Ueda up to bat for the BeeJays. Righty batter. Infield playing normal depth. Outfield also at normal depth. Shaded ever so slightly into left field. Here's the first pitch to Ueda. It's a breaking ball in there for strike 1. Jacks used 4 pitchers last night in the 16-11 loss to the BeeJays. We'll see how many they can go through today. Hopefully Hagedis is able to get a couple of quick outs in this first inning. It was a 1-run inning in the first yesterday for the BeeJays. Jacks were able to get 2 before the game spiraled out of control. Here's the 1-1 from Hagedis. Breaking ball in there for a swing and miss strike. So the count 1-2 against Ueda. Just a 2-pitch at-bat to Finnegan. Hagedis, the 1-2. And that one gets away from the catcher. Catching for tonight, Luke Refka. Count 2-2. Ueda does well to follow that one back to keep the at-bat alive. Hagedis, a righty pitcher. Second base playing deep. Here's the 2-2, and that ball is chopped into the gap, and that's going to be a single for Ueda. We'll make a small round around first base, but he'll stay there. There's the first hit of the game for the BeeJays. So runner on first base, that'll bring up Cole Manuel. With an open batter stance, another righty, so lefty, righty, righty to start the game against the righty Hagedis. There's a breaking ball, and all that did was break the shoulder of Manuel, who will jot down to first base as he takes a first pitch off the shoulder. So now 2 men on, still 1 out in the top of the first. That brings up the ever-dangerous Cal Anthony, who we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, was able to connect on a solo shot last night in a 11-run top of the 6th inning for the BeeJays, an inning that saw them take their lead back. Now Anthony, a lefty batter working against the righty Hagedis. Taking a look back at second base, here's the first pitch to Anthony. Breaking ball outside for ball 1. Anthony, a ball player at the University of Nebraska, chops that to the first base side. This will not be 2, and it won't even be 1 as the throw over to second base from the first baseman tonight, which is Parker Fagans, just sails a little too high, so now the bases are loaded with 1 out.
DH number 44, Noah Giovanelli.
Play currently not being scored right now. It is given as a hit. Here's the first pitch. Giovanelli is able to get down to the outfield. 1-run scores. Coming around third is Manuel. And the throw to the plate takes a bounce. Hagedis is going to back up the catcher. And that is going to be a 2-run single off the bat of Noah Giovanelli, the designated hitter for this BeeJays team. The score 2-0 in the top of the first. Or apologies, just 1 run actually came in on the single. Still 1 out. Caden Azola now up to bat. And he swings at a first pitch called strike.
Now batting for the BeeJays left fielder number 20, Caden Azola.
And that ball is smacked into left field. That one's going to get down. 1 run's going to score, probably 2. Azola on his way to second. He'll hold up there. And the throw to the plate is going to be in time. As Lumberjax makes the tag at home plate, so only 1 run scores on the double hit by Azola. And the lead grows for the BeeJays here in the top of the first. So 2 outs here in the top of the first. The score 3-0. Hegedus working against Wyatt Bohannon, the catcher. Here's the 0-1 from Hegedus. High for ball 1. The 1-1 pitch in there for a swinging strike to Bohannon. And the count now 1-2. Bohannon takes a step out of the box. Hegedus looking to work. Already 3 runs given up here in the top of the first, and there's a swing and a miss by Bohannon. Grafka makes the grab, and that's going to do it for the top of the first inning here at Rock Canyon High School. The BeeJays get 3, and they have the lead. Jack's up to bat. Bottom of the first inning. When we return to Rock Canyon, you're watching a presentation of Colorado Lumberjax baseball. Welcome back to Rock Canyon High School. Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Thrilled to have you here. We head to the bottom of the first inning between the BeeJays and the Jacks. BeeJays able to score 3 in that top half of the first inning. Anchored by a couple of big hits by Cale Anthony and Noah Giovanelli. Preston Roberg on the mound today for the BeeJays from Iowa Lakes Community College. He's going to have to deal with Kyler Vaughn and Caden Clifford, 1 and 2. Both guys had home runs last night against the BeeJays. Vaughn with a 2-run shot, and Clifford as well with a 2-run shot in the bottom half of the first inning. 3 hits in the top of the first for the BeeJays. As we saw last night, the importance of the Jacks getting off to a hot start, keeping this game relatively close. Roberg, a native of Overland Park, Kansas. And we are set to go in the bottom of the first inning. Kyler Vaughn stepping up, righty batter.
Leading off for the Lumberjacks, center fielder number 18, Kyler.
Playing center
Vaughn.
field tonight, number 18, wearing the blue helmet. Jacks in their home gold uniforms. And we are set to receive the first pitch from Roberg. And that is low and away, glazing off the glove there of Bohannon for ball one. Vaughn open stance out towards left field. Here is the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. Fastball low, outside corner of the plate. Vaughn reaching a little bit there. Steps back into the box. And Vaughn throwing on the bunt signal knocks that one back high into the protective fencing, so that's going to be another strike against Vaughn. Count 1-2. One, two from Roberg. Low and away for ball two. Count 2-2 against Vaughn. Jacks would love to get the leadoff man on the bottom of this first inning. Here's the 2-2 from Roberg. And that ball is smacked right off the knee of Roberg. There's going to be a play over at first base. Finnegan makes the grab. Huffman makes the play off the knee of Roberg. And that's the first out of the inning for the Jacks.
So for the Lumberjacks,
Roberg seems to be walking relatively okay. Infield comes in to check on their pitcher. That was a hard hit ball from Vaughn off the outside of the left knee, the planting knee for Roberg. Now the coaching staff will come out to have a word. Starting infielders for Liberal BeeJays at first base, Ben Finnegan, second base, Jet Hoffman, Trenton Ueda at shortstop, and then Cole Manuel at third base. Training staff from the Lumberjacks also coming out to check on Roberg. And I believe he is going to stay into this game. And I believe home plate umpire will allow Roberg to take a couple of throws to make sure that planting leg is okay. And he seems to be throwing the ball pretty well. Overcast skies here in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Wind's now blowing out towards left field. A little bit of a cooler day than yesterday. Yesterday's temperatures topping the mid-90s. Today, game time temperature 86 degrees. Little cloud coverage for the spectators who have made their way to Rock Canyon High School. Set to resume action. Caden Clifford, the left fielder, now up to bat for the Jacks. Here's the first pitch from Roberg, and that's a high fastball for ball one. Clifford with an open stance. Here is the 1-0 pitch, and that's high and outside for ball two. Takes a look at ball three, so now the count 3-0 against Clifford. Native of Castle Rock, Colorado. Looking to get on base here. Here's the 3-0 from Roberg. And that is in there for a called strike one. Roberg looking to work quickly here. Here's the 3-0 pitch. And that ball is inside for called strike two. Now the count quickly full against Clifford as he was not too fond of those last two calls. Here's the full count pitch. Inside, that's ball four. Clifford will make the jog down to first base. And that's going to bring up Parker Fagan now, number 22. Playing first base tonight. Ball nearly clipping Clifford there. So now Roberg will have to deal with Clifford, who is a speedy runner at first base, although Clifford not taking too aggressive of a lead. Here's the first pitch to Fagans, and that ball is swung on and chopped foul down the first base line, out of play. So the count 0-1. Clifford with a decent secondary lead. Here's the 0-1 to Fagans, and that is outside for ball one. A little bit of a defensive shakeup in this game for the Jacks, with Fagans playing first. The throw over to first base from Roberg is not in time. Elias Franier, normally playing first base for the Jacks, is going to be DHing today. Fagans, straight up stance. Here's the 1-1. Outside, ball two. And Roberg, wonder if he's going to test the inside of the plate. That seems to be the favorable call to 1 1/3. Instead, he'll throw over to first base, looking at Clifford. Clifford able to get back in time. Clifford goes, and that ball is chopped. Not going to be able to be played by Finnegan, and Finnegan's not going to get Fagans out at first, so two men on with only one out in the bottom of the first. Clifford was running the whole way.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 34, Elias Franier.
Now that will bring up the aforementioned Elias Franier, lefty batter with two men on and a runner in scoring position for the Jacks. The first pitch from Roberg inside for ball one. Franier, a powerful batter in the 4 spot. Batting .368 on the season. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that ball is chopped to the second baseman. Uyeda throw over to the first, and Finnegan makes the grab, and that's going to be an inning-ending double play from Elias Franier. So the Jacks threatened in the bottom of the first, end up with 0 runs. We head to the second inning at Rock Canyon High School. The score, the BeeJays 3, the Jacks 0. Welcome back to Rock Canyon High School. Set to begin the second inning between the Liberal BeeJays and the home Colorado Lumberjacks. Leading things off in this second inning,
Now
Jet Huffman, the second baseman.
Number 3, Jet Huffman.
Apologies, Huffman playing first base tonight. And here's the first pitch to Huffman, and that's fouled back behind home plate. Count 0-1. Here's the pitch from Hegedus. Swing and a miss by Huffman. Hegedus ahead 0-2 in the count. Middle infield playing deep for the Jacks. Here's the 0-2 from Hegedus. Bounces it in for ball one. Hegedus with one strikeout in the top of the first inning, looking to get his second of the game. Here's the 1-2, and that bounces in again for ball two. Huffman, a native of Turpin, Oklahoma, looking to get things going in the top of the second for the BeeJays. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Hegedus. That ball is chopped down the third base line, foul. Third base coach for the BeeJays trying to make a diving play. Didn't leave his feet. That's not going to cut it. So the count remains 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Outside in the dirt for ball three. So the count quickly full. Hegedus working quickly here. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Huffman. And that is low and away for ball four. So he walked the leadoff batter. Huffman will go to first base. No outs. One man on.
BeeJays center fielder.
And here comes
one,
Seth Green. Seth Green led things off yesterday for the BeeJays in the top of the first inning with a triple into right field. Green playing center field today. Huffman with a sizable lead at first base. Green has the bunt sign on. Decides to pull back, and that's ball one against Green. Now Luke Rafka will go out to have a word with his pitcher. He's thrown five straight balls right now, trying to settle him back in. Mallorini playing in at third base. Here's the 1-0 from Hegedus, and that ball is chopped between the gap of first and second. Huffman's going to round second and slips on the bag. Unsure whether or not he would have gone to third, but he'll hold up at second, so it's a no-out single for Seth Green, and the top of the order now up for the BeeJays.
Now batting for the BeeJays, first baseman number 12, Ben Finnegan.
Now Finnegan, who flew out to center field in the top of the first inning, up to bat with runners in scoring position, still no outs. Fourth hit of the ball game for the BeeJays. Here's the first pitch. Finnegan showing bunt. And that's in there for strike one as he decided to pull back. Mallorini playing a step off the dirt. Middle infielder's back. Fagan's at first base, not holding on Green. Here's the 0-1 from Hegedus, bounces it in. Luke Rafka has to do well there to stop it. Count 1-1. Vaughn playing relatively in at center field. Hegedus takes a look back at second base. Here's the 1-1 outside for ball two. So the count now 2-1 against Ben Finnegan. Trent Uyeda standing on deck, singled in the first inning. Hegedus once again taking a look back at second base. Here's the 2-1, and that is going to hit Finnegan in the back. Now the bases are loaded with no outs in the top of the second for Uyeda. Some nervy moments here for the Jacks as the coaching staff will come out to have a word with starting pitcher Brendan Hegedus. All the infielders coming in as well. Going to decide how they want to play this with Uyeda up. Uyeda incredibly fast, and then you take a look at Huffman and Green and Finnegan both on the base pass. If Uyeda can get one out of the infield, 2 runs is almost guaranteed with the speedy Green at second base. So the conversation at the pitcher's mound is done. We will resume action. Score 3-0 right now in favor of the Liberal BeeJays. 4 hits to 1 in favor of Liberal as well. And an early opportunity for Ueda to add some more runs to the BeeJays. Here's the first pitch from Hegedus. And Ueda looks at that one in high for ball 1. Hegedus not taking a look at any of the bags, just going to attack the batter. Here's the 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss on a breaking ball low and outside. Great pitch to come back for number 31. So the count 1-1. Taking a look down at that Jax bullpen, nobody warming up. Still very early in this game. Here's the 1-1 from Hegedus. And that ball is flared high into the air over the fence. A couple of players who are sitting in the bleachers took off almost incredibly fast trying to catch that foul ball. Unsure if anybody was able to hold on to that. As it stands, the count 1-2 against Ueda. Here's the 1-2 from Hegedus. And that ball is flared, and that's going to get into right field. 1-run score. Green is going to round third. The throw to the plate is going to be cut off, and the throw to third base is not going to be in time. So it's a 2-run RBI single for Ueda. And the score is now 5-0 in favor of the BeeJays. Ueda, his second hit of the game. So Huffman and Green score on that play. Finnegan goes to third. Still no outs. Cole Manuel up to bat. Swings at a first pitch, fouls it back for strike 1. As the 5th hit of the ball game for the BeeJays. Manuel, who was hit by a pitch in the first inning, like I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, came in late in that game yesterday. Delivered on 3 hit. Runner goes, and Manuel smacks that into left field. Finnegan is going to come home. Ueda over to second base, and that is another RBI single for Cole Manuel, and the score now 6-0 in favor of the BeeJays.
Now batting for the BeeJays, right fielder number 19, Cal Anthony.
Now Cal Anthony up to bat. Still 2 men on, no outs. 3 runs scored in the top of the 2nd. Here's the first pitch to Anthony, low in the dirt for ball 1. Anthony reached on an error back in the first inning. Here's the 1-0 pitch to Anthony, and that ball is smacked into center field. Ueda going to third base, and he's going to be held up there. And once again, the bases are loaded for the BeeJays as the hit parade continues for this Liberal Kansas team.
Now batting for the BeeJays, designated hitter number 44, Neo Janvinelli.
Noah Giovanelli up to bat. Tall left-handed batter, number 44 for Liberal, and he's got it. Bases loaded, still with no outs, and a chance to really extend the lead. First pitch from Hegedus is low and outside for ball 1. Now it looks like there is some movement beginning in the Jax bullpen. Here's the 1-0 from Hegedus. That ball is smacked into center field. This one's deep. And the catch is going to be made by the center fielder, Kyler Vaughn. 1 run is going to score on the sac fly from Giovanelli. Finnegan comes home. The lead now 7-0 in favor of the BeeJays on the sack fly from Giovanelli. Runners at the corners here.
Batting for the BeeJays.
I believe we're going to have a stoppage of play. It's Caden Isola now up to bat. Isola doubled back in the first inning, and I say back, feels like it was a while ago, but we're still here in the top of the second inning. Here's the first pitch to Isola, and that is low for ball one. Anthony on first base, Manuel on third base. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Anthony goes. The throw to second base is going to be high. And thankfully, Zach Perry was there to catch the ball that got past Satterley. But Anthony able to take second base relatively easy. So now runners at second and third, still no outs. The top of the second. Oh, apologies. Correction, 1 out on the sac fly. Here's the 2-0 from Hegedus. That is low for ball 3. Here's the 3-0 from Hegedus. That's outside for a 4-pitch walk, and the bases are loaded once again for Bohannon.
Next up for the BeeJays, catcher number 33, Wyatt Bohannon.
As the warm-up situation in the Jacks is progressing slowly, Hegedus has to stay in here with 1 out. Here's the first pitch to Bohannon, and that is in there for strike 1. Score 7-0 here in the top of the second. BJ still up to bat. Bohannon swings and misses on a changeup from Hegedus. So the count quickly grows to 0-2 in favor of the Jacks pitcher. Bohannon struck out in the first inning to end that inning. Here's the 0-2 from Hegedus. And that ball was tipped back into the glove. LaGrafka unable to hold on to that, so the count remains 0-2. Huffman, who led off the inning with a single, on deck. Hegedus looks in. Here's the 0-2. And that ball is chopped to the shortstop. This could be 2 in the end of the inning. The throw over to the first base is going to be in time. So the Jacks surrender 4, but they get out of another bases-loaded jam. They trail by a score of 7-0, and they'll bat in the bottom of the second when we return to Rock Canyon High School. You're watching this presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks baseball. Welcome back to Rock Canyon High School. The scores we head to the bottom of the second inning between the home Colorado Lumberjacks and the visitors from Liberal, Kansas, the BeeJays, 7-0, as the BeeJays were able to add another 4 runs in the top half of the second inning. Leading things off here in the second is going to be Zach Perry, the team leader in batting average. And if the Jacks are going to crawl their way back into this contest, it's going to have to start with Perry. How important it would be to get the lead man on for the Jacks working against Preston Roberg, who was able to get an inning-ending double play the last time out to Elias Frandier.
Perry.
So here's Perry stepping in, a righty batter working against Roberg. The first pitch low and outside for ball 1. Second pitch from Roberg, also low, also outside, and also a ball. So the count 0-2. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is inside. Oh, apologies, count 1-2. And that pitch in there for strike 1. So Roberg working against Perry. And Perry smacks that into right field. That's going to get down for a leadoff single. And the Jacks have the leadoff man on in the bottom of the second.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, second baseman number 12, Bryson Satterley.
Now they'll bring up Bryson Satterley. And Satterley had a good game yesterday. The only problem was he got hit a couple of times, once in the back on a pitch, once a bouncy ball that caught him in the chest, and then another time he fouled a ball off his shin. So a rough day, not in terms of stats, but more in terms of just I'm sure how he felt this morning as he takes a look at a first pitch strike. So no outs in the bottom of the second. Perry on first base. Roberg will throw over to keep him honest. And you wonder if Perry is going to be given the sign steal or the steal signal. Taking a look over to the third base coach. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that is outside for ball 1. That one just missing that top right corner that we've grown so accustomed to here at Rock Canyon High School. Decent lead for Perry. Here's the 1-1 from Roberg, and that ball is smacked up into the gap. This could be 2. The throw over to first is not in time as Satterley beats it out. So he'll be safe at first. The leadoff man, Perry, is going to be out at second.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, number 26, third baseman Gino Maccarini.
Now Gino Maccarini up to bat. Righty batter with an open stance. 1 out. 1 man on for the Jacks in the bottom half of the second inning. Throw over to first base, not in time as Satterley gets back. And the first pitch to Maccarini, high and outside for ball 1. Maccarini playing third base today for the Jacks. Number 26 playing for Concordia University. Throw once again over to first base is not going to get Satterley. As Roberg behind the count 1-0 against Maccarini. Here's the 1-0 from Roberg, and that is right down the middle for strike 1. Satterley staying on the bag as long as he can. Now he'll take his initial lead, and it's a good one. Just at the edge of the semicircle that guards that first base. Roberg takes a look back at first. Satterley A crouching stance will not go. The 1-1 pitch outside from Roberg for ball 2. That gusty wind we had when this game started has died down significantly. We had gusts in the area up to 40 miles per hour today, but not even a breath of wind right now. As Macarini working against Roberg. Satterley with a big lead at first base. And again, he'll be forced to retreat to the bag as Roberg throws over. And for the third time this at-bat, unsuccessful at getting Satterley. Macarini having some words with the home plate umpire. A little chuckle. Continues with that open stance of him. Here's the 2-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Almost seemed like he was not committed to that swing as he tried to fight it off. Count 2-2 now against Macarini. Satterley once again with a big first lead, gets in that crouching stance. Here's the 2-2 from Roberg, and that is outside for ball 3. So the count now full. Quinn Luke Rafka waiting on deck for the Jacks, the catcher today, as they move Satterley out from behind the bag. Here's the 3-2 from Roberg, and that ball is chopped to the shortstop. This also might be 2. The throw over to first base to Finnegan is not in time. So for the second time this inning, the BeeJays nearly get a double play. But Macarini able to beat that out.
Batting for your Lumberjacks, catcher number 6, Quinn Luke Rafka.
So now Luke Rafka up to bat. Augsburg University ball player from Lakewood, Colorado. Switch hitter today. He'll be in the lefty's batter's box working against the righty pitcher, and that ball gets past Bohannon. Macarini could jog down to second base as he takes second on that ball 1. So runner in scoring position. 2 outs, 1-0 count to Luke Rafka. 3 hits on the day for the Lumberjacks as Luke Rafka swings at the 1-0 pitch. Count 1-1 against the catcher for the Jacks. The 1-1 pitch is popped high into the air. Nicole Manuel will come in to make the grab and end the inning. So the Jacks get a couple of more hits, move a couple of runners over, but are unable to get on the board. They still trail 7-0 as we head to the 3rd inning at Rock Canyon High School. You're watching this presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks baseball. Welcome back to Rock Canyon High School, set to begin the 3rd inning between the BeeJays and the Lumberjacks. Jed Huffman's going to lead things off here for the BeeJays, who lead the Jacks by a score of 7-0. 9 hits to 3 right now. The big number, besides the 7-0 scores, the first pitch from Hegedus is inside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch is low for ball 2, so the count quickly 2-0 against Huffman. And Hegedus once again working from behind in the count. Here's the 2-0 from Hegedus, and that's a breaking ball that just doesn't quite get over the inside corner of the plate. So the count 3-0 against Huffman, who reached in the second inning to lead things off in that 4-run top of the second. Here's a 3-0 from Hegedus, and that is a strike right down the middle. Took a second for the home plate umpire to give that signal, but right down the middle indeed. Count 3-1 now against Huffman. Hegedus has his pitch. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Huffman chops that to Macarini at third. The throw over to first base is in time for out number 1. Good job there by Fagans on the scoop. And now that's going to bring up Seth Green.
Number 1, Seth Green.
Green singled in the last inning. Switch hitter, batting in the lefty batter's box today. Hegedus shakes off a couple of pitches. Here's the first pitch to Green, and that bounces in for ball 1. Macarini playing in at third. Swing and a miss by Green for strike 1. Satterley playing deep on the grass. The 1-1 pitch outside corner of the plate for strike 2. Always have to take a second beat here at Rock Canyon to make sure you get the call correctly. So the count now 1-2 against Green. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that ball is smacked into center field, and that is going to get down. Green is going to round first base, get about halfway between first and second. Now he'll jog his way back to first, but he has his second hit of the game.
BeeJays first baseman number 12, Ben Finnegan.
So now Finnegan up to bat. Was hit by a pitch in the second inning. One out, top of the third. Hegedus will throw over to first base, trying to get Green. Green is able to come safely back to the bag. Green with a lot of speed at first base. You wonder if he is going to go. Here's the first pitch from Hegedus, and that ball is smacked, laced, roped into left field, and that is gone. My goodness. The power of Ben Finnegan on full display as he launched that over the wall. Nearly startling some of the patrons out there, but that's a 2-run home run for Finnegan.
BeeJays shortstop number 29, Trenton.
And the lead is now 9-0 for Liberal. And I believe that is going to be the end of the day for Brandon Hegedus. As the head coach for the Jacks making his way out there, it is in fact going to be a pitching change. And that is going to be the day for Hegedus, who gives up 9 through 2 1/3 inning. New pitcher coming on for the Jacks. We will update you with that in a second. We're going to step aside for a quick break while that pitcher warms up. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back to Rock Canyon High School. Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Pitching change in the top of the third inning as Brendan Ward comes on for Brandon Hegedus in a bases empty situation. Apologies, that is number 21 for the Lumberjacks. My eyes are good, folks. They're not great. I thought I saw a 7 out there, but it is, in fact, number 21 for the Jacks. We will update you on that name in just a second. As Trenton Uyeda now up to bat. 2 hits already in this game for Uyeda as the BeeJays look to add more in the top of the third. New pitcher for the Jacks is, in fact, James Lawrence. And here is Lawrence's first pitch to Uyeda. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Here's Lawrence's 0-1 pitch to Uyeda, and that is a breaking ball in there for strike 2. So Lawrence off the bench and quickly ahead 0-2. Lawrence looking in from the stretch. And here's the 0-2 pitch. And Uyeda flares that foul down the first base line. That one nearly dropped in, but the count remains 0-2. And I believe Uyeda's bat broke because he just launched that towards his dugout, and it made an interesting sound. And Uyeda checking his hands. And if you've ever played baseball, you know taking one off the bat inside like that does not feel good, especially with the wood bats. So he'll get some new lumber and step back into the box, trailing 0-2. The BeeJays still lead 9-0 in the top of the third. A crushing 2-run home run in the top by Ben Finnegan just a couple of minutes ago to left field, and that ball jumped off his bat, and you just knew it was gone from the second he made contact with it. But now Lawrence ahead 0-2 against Uyeda. And here's the 0-2 pitch. And that tags Uyeda in the back. It was a breaking ball that just didn't work back in towards the plate, stayed out.
Pitcher for the Lumberjacks is number 21, James Lawrence. Next up for the BeeJays, third baseman, number 7, Cole
Manuel up to bat with Uyeda on first base. Still just 1 out in the top of the third. Jacks trail 9-0. Here's the first pitch to Manuel, and that is high for ball 1. Manuel with an open stance towards third base. Uyeda goes. The throw down to second base is not going to be in time. The ball made contact with the back of Uyeda again. The second time in just over 2.5 minutes he's taken a ball off the back. Laughing about it at second base, but he takes second on a steal, and now runner once again in scoring position for the BeeJays. Count 2-0 against Manuel, and now Lawrence will step off as he and catcher Luke Rafka were having some disagreements about the signals coming in. Luke Rafka will return back to home plate. Manuel will step back into the box. Manuel was hit by a pitch in the first inning and then an RBI single in the second, now his third at-bat. Here's the 2-0, and that is low and inside for ball 3. Lawrence, a ball player in Metro State, trying to get the second out of the inning. Uyeda looking to steal third, and that is in there for strike 1. Uyeda gets to third, so he's stolen second and now third in the 10th run of the game, just 90 feet away for the BeeJays. Count 3-1 against Manuel. Big spot for Lawrence. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball gets Manuel to go. Now the count full. Infield at normal depth. Clifford shaded a tad towards center field. Wind completely dead. Here's the 3-2 pitch. And that bounces in for ball 4. So Manuel, for the third time in 3 innings, will get on base.
Now batting for the BeeJays, right fielder number 19, Cal Anthony.
Now they'll bring up Cal Anthony, who singled back in the second inning, reached on an error in the first inning. He has runners at the corners and only 1 out. Lawrence will toss it back to Fagans at first. And well able to get there. Anthony. Lawrence will toss it back over to first base. Anthony, as I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, ball player for the University of Nebraska, batting in the 4th spot for the BeeJays. Had a solo shot home run last night in the 16-11 win over the Jacks. Here's the first pitch to Anthony. Swing and a miss on a fastball. Anthony was looking for his second home run of this series. On the count, 0-1. Big strikeout would be here for Lawrence. Another fastball and another swing and a miss by Anthony. Trying to climb the ladder, and now behind the count, 0-2. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And that is over the plate, but just a tad inside for ball 1. Lumberjax dugout was pleading for a strike 3 call there. Prayers falling on deaf ears as the count now 1-2. The throw over to first base once again, not in time, as Manuel gets back to the bag. So Lawrence looking in now. Here is the 1-2 pitch to Anthony, and that ball is mashed once again into right field. This one's going to stay in the ballpark, but it is going to score. Ojeda from third. Manuel going to second is going to get there safe. So a sac fly from Anthony scores the 10th run of the game. Ojeda comes home. Manuel goes to second, and now there's 2 outs in the top of the 3rd.
Now batting for the BeeJays, designated hitter number 44, Noah Giovanelli.
Now Giovanelli up with a runner in scoring position represented by Manuel. There's the first pitch in for Giovanelli, and that's a ball. Score now 10-0 in favor of the BeeJays. This Jacks team can hit. They just have to get the bats going. Just 3 hits through 2 innings. Already 9 hits for the BeeJays as Lawrence takes a look back at second base to Manuel. Here's the 1-0 to Giovanelli, and that is high and outside for ball 2. Caden Azola on deck already with a double and a walk in today's game. 3rd time around the order for this BeeJays lineup. Lawrence takes a look back at second base again. Here's the 2-0 pitch. And that bounces inside for ball 3. Perry playing close at second base. Satterley playing normal depth. The gap between second and first. Lawrence takes a look back at second base once again. Manuel with a sizable lead. Here's the 3-0 pitch to Giovanelli, and that's high and outside for ball 4.
Now batting for the BeeJays, left fielder number 20, Caden Isola.
Now Caden Isola up to bat. Bohannon on deck. He's ended the last 2 innings for the BeeJays. Isola, as I just mentioned, a double in the first, a walk in the second. And a chance here in the third to add more runs. 2 outs. Lawrence once again taking a look back at second base. And well, gets a sizable secondary lead, in the first pitch to Isola is in for ball 1. Giovanelli casually taking his lead. And well, takes a massive secondary lead. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that ball is fouled back out of play. I believe the word of the free chicken sandwiches or free Chick-fil-A has gone out, because now people are hightailing it for these foul balls. The count now 1-1. Lawrence taking a look at second base. Perry holding his glove out. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that ball is fouled back into the fencing. So the count now 1-2. Relatively open stance for Isola. Lawrence takes a look back at second base. Giovanelli with a big lead over at first. Here's the 1-2 from Lawrence. Swung on and fouled back out of play again. The race is on. Count remains 1-2. Wind beginning to blow out towards left field as the gusts are starting to pick up again here. The 1-2 from Lawrence. And that ball is chopped down the third base line. It's going to go foul. So Isola battling the top of the third to keep this at-bat alive. Doing it well to fight off the last 3 pitches from Lawrence. Lawrence takes another look back at second base. Here's the 1-2 pitch. And that ball is chopped. Lawrence is going to make the play by himself. Incredible speed by 21 in gold, and that's going to end the inning. The BeeJays get 3 more. Their lead grows to 10-0, and the Jacks will bat again in the bottom of the third. From Rock Canyon High School, you're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. We're back at Highland Ranch, Rock Canyon High School, the venue for today. Absolutely picture perfect evening in Highlands Ranch, as you can see out of the left corner of your screen. Rock Canyon up there overlooking the road. Jacks find themselves in a 10-0 hole as we head to the bottom of the third. And leading things off here for the Jacks,
right,
Cooper Nider.
Cooper Nider.
This is Nider's first at-bat. BeeJays have already batted around the order 3 times. Jacks with their final batter. And the first pitch in from Roberg is a swinging strike by Nider. The 0-1 from Roberg is low and away for ball 1. Close stance from Nider. Here is the 1-1 pitch, and that is low and away for ball 2. So the count 2-1 for number 4 in gold, Cooper Nider. Infield playing normal depth. Here is the 2-1 pitch, and that ball is smacked into left field, and that's a leadoff single for Nider. Jacks have the leadoff man on, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Kyler Vaughn.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, center fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
We saw yesterday Vaughn with a lot of pop as he sent a ball yesterday over 400 feet to dead center in a 2-run home run. The Jacks 16-11 loss to the BeeJays. Nider with a large lead at first base. Here's the first pitch from Roberg, and that bounces in. Bohannon sliding over to make the stop. Good play there from Bohannon. The count 1-0 against Kyler Vaughn. And Vaughn smacks that into left field again. That's another single. Nider was already on the way, and he's going to get to third base. So runners at the corners, no outs for the Jacks. And that'll bring up the ever-dangerous Caden Clifford.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, left fielder number 20, Caden Clifford.
So Vaughn at first base, Nider at third, Clifford up to bat against Roberg, who's given up 2 hits to begin this inning. Runner goes, Bohannon unable to transfer that ball cleanly into his throwing hand, and Vaughn easily able to steal second. So now 2 runners in scoring position. There's the 1-0 pitch, and that's low to Clifford, so the count 2-0. Big spot here for Clifford to get the first run to the game for the Jacks. Roberg working. Here's the 2-0 to Clifford. Swing and a miss on a changeup right over the plate. Clifford was swinging for the fences. Heck, swinging beyond the fences there, but he misses for strike 1. Here's the 2-1, and that is high and outside for ball 3. So a patient at-bat now for Clifford. 3-1, and a chance to get the bases loaded for Fagans, who's waiting on deck. Here's the 3-1 from Roberg, and that is dropped outside, ball 4, bases juiced for the Jacks. No outs in the bottom of the third.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, first baseman number 22, Parker Fagans.
Fagans singled in the first. He's got a lot of power in that bat. And one swing of the bat could make this game a little bit interesting in the third inning. Still a ton of time remaining in this game. A lot of ball to be played. Here's the first pitch to Fagans. Swing and a miss. As that ball, I believe, made contact with the right arm of Bohannon, who's a little slow moving his way back into the batter's box, or check that, the catcher's area. So the count 0-1 to Fagans. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Fagans. He ropes that into center field. 1 run's going to score. They're going to send Vaughn around third. The throw to the plate's not going to happen. A 2-run RBI single for Parker Fagans, and the Jacks are on the board in the third. Now we will have a timeout as I thought I heard out of my ear that there was a soccer ball on the field, and it turns out there was in left field as that's sent back into the field. And now Elias Franier up to bat. So Clifford goes to second. Snyder scored. Vaughn scored. Fagan's at first. And the first good momentum swing of the day for the Jacks as they scored 2. There's still no outs in the bottom of the third. Score now 10-2. That was the 5th hit of the game. And Elias Franier, who grounded out into a double play back in the first inning with the chance to add more for the Jacks. Preston Roberg still on the mound. No movement at all in the BeeJays bullpen. Some stretching going on, but no throwing as the first pitch to Franier. I believe that was outside for ball 1. The 1-0 pitch, and that ball is flared into left field. That's going to get down. Clifford's going to round third, and he's going to score. Another RBI single for the Jacks, and they have 3 now, and still no outs.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, shortstop number 9, Zach Perry.
Now that's going to bring up Zach Perry, who singled in the second inning. But the score now 10-3, runners at first and second, still no outs for Perry. And Perry laces that into right field. That's going to get down. That's going to drop. Fagan's rounding third. Franier following him closely. 2 runs are going to come in, but Bohannon can't make the tag. He can't get the ball. Perry's going over to third. The throw to third is going to be in time. That's going to get the first out, but that is a 2-run RBI double by Zach Perry.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, number 12, Bryson Satterley.
So nobody on base, just catching ourselves up here on the scoring department, but that was an RBI single for Franier. And then Zach Perry with an RBI double, the first pitch to Satterley outside for ball 1. And folks, still no outs. Now here's Satterley. Takes a look at strike 1. So the count 1-1 against Satterley. Nobody on, no outs. And the Jacks have scored 5. Satterley hits that between the gap. Uyeda making a diving play at third. The throw not even close to on time. And there's another base runner in Bryson Satterley as he gets the first.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, third baseman number 26, Gino Maccarini.
Gino Maccarini up, grounded out to fielder's choice back in the second. Runner goes, and Bohannon once again having some trouble with the transfer. That's the third time now this inning he's had trouble getting that ball. And Satterley gets over to second base on the steal, so runner in scoring position again with the score 10-5 in the bottom of the third. Seven hits now on the day for the Jacks. Maccarini takes a look at ball 1. Satterley with a massive lead at second base. Here's the pitch from Roberg, and that is in there for strike. Roberg taking some time, trying to find this pitch. Satterley at second base. And that ball is lined down the third base line, just going foul. Third base coach for the Jacks wanted that fair, but it did look like it bounced over before making contact with that bag. So we'll get an update on the count here in just a second. Macarini having some words for the home plate umpire, only in a joking standpoint. So Satterley again with a big lead. No action in the BeeJays bullpen. That pitch is outside. Satterley was halfway between second and third. Bohannon not choosing to throw down, but that's another ball. I believe the count is full now. Apologies, the count 2-2 against Macarini. The 2-2 pitch fouled back behind home plate, staying alive, Macarini. One out, apologies, here in the bottom of the third. Macarini flies that ball high in the air. And making the grab is going to be Green. Satterley not going to try to take third, so now 2 outs in the bottom of the third.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, catcher number 6, Quinn Lufrafka.
Lufrafka now up to bat. Flew out to third base last inning. Lefty batter against a righty pitcher. Jacks would love to get one more run in. That first pitch to Lufrafka is in for ball 1. Open stance for Lufrafka. Here's the 1-0 pitch. And that is high for ball 2. Roberg takes a look back at second base. Here is the 2-0 pitch, and that is in there for strike 1. Jacks have put 5 runs on in the bottom of the third. Love to get one more as the bats have woken up. Here's the 2-1 pitch as Roberg is going to step off. Chase Satterley back to second. Now Roberg looking in. Satterley going to third, swing and a miss. Satterley will take third. That is strike 2. And some miscommunication going out there on the base pass. Satterley a little overzealous about making his way to third. Now he'll take a big lead at third base. The count 2-2 against Macarini. Apologies, Lufrafka. Here's the 2-2. And that ball is chopped foul down the first base line. An inning that began with a single from Cooper Nider has ballooned into a 5-run inning for the Jacks. 6th run, 90 feet away. The count 2-2 against Lufrafka. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Roberg. That bounces in for ball 3. Bohannon does well to block that. Satterley getting real jumpy at third base, thinking about taking that bag. Already stole second, now is stolen third. Full count here in the bottom of the third. Here's the pitch from Roberg. And that is low and inside for ball 4. So runners at the corners. That'll bring up Cooper Nider, who led off the inning.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
Nider with his second at-bat. I believe that might be the end of the day for Preston Roberg. And that is going to be the end of the day. He gives up 5 runs in this inning. He's responsible for the runners at first and third. We will step aside. The Jacks will still bat here in the bottom of the third. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back, Rock Canyon High School. The Jacks have put up some numbers here in the bottom of the third. They've already scored 5. They have runners at the corners with 2 outs in the bottom of the third. Sean Say is the new pitcher relieving Preston Roberg, who pitched 2 2/3 inning, 5 earned runs on 8 hits, and still 2 more runners out there represented by Roberg. Leading or up to bat now is Cooper Nider, who led things off in this impressive third inning for the Jacks. Singled to get things going, and now he has runners at the corners and is looking to add more runs. We'll see what Sayers can do. He will chuck it over to first base, trying to get Luke Rafka sleeping a little bit. 4 stolen bags in this inning alone for the Jacks. Here's the first pitch from Sayers, and that is low for ball 1. Nider with a slightly open stance, middle infield playing deep. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that is in there for ball 2. Kyler Vaughn waiting on deck. He singled in this inning as well. That would be the top of the order for the Jacks. 2-0 from Sayers. Breaking ball swing and a miss. Beautiful pitch from Sean Sayers. They count now 2-1 against Nider. Satterley on third. Luke Rafka on first. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That ball is smacked between the gap of center and left. 1 run scores. Luke Rafka on his way to third. The ball is bobbled. He could have gone home. Instead, it'll be held up at third. but that is a 2-out RBI double from Cooper Nider. And the inning will continue for the Jacks with 2 men in scoring position and Kyler Vaughn in the top of the order up.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, center fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
So Vaughn up to bat against Sayers. Here's the first pitch to Vaughn, and that is outside for ball 1. One swing of the bat here from Vaughn, and this game could potentially be within 2 runs after it looked like the BeeJays were running away with this. Here's the 1-0 from Sayers. And that is in there for strike 1, outside corner of the plate. Good pitch. Sayers will step off the bag wearing a pair of Jordan 1 cleats. Here's the 1-1 from Sayers. Breaking ball swing and a miss. Vaughn didn't know what to do with that one until it was too late. And now the count 1-2. Sayers standing off the bag, waiting for his pitch. He gets it from Bohannon. The 1-2 to Vaughn. And that is low for ball 2. Count 2-2 with 2 outs. Two men on for the Jacks. Already scored 6. Can they get number 7 and 8 in? Sayers in a tough spot. Here's the 2-2 from Sayers. And that ball is nuked into center field. This one's deep. This one's back. This one is gone. Kyler Vaughn, 3-run shot, and the Jacks are back within 1. What an inning for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Seemingly out of this contest, down 10-0. And Kyler Vaughn with 1 swing has gotten this game to 10-9.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, left fielder number 20, Caden Clifford.
So now with the bases empty and still 2 outs, Clifford up to bat. Clifford with 2 walks in this contest. Take a look at ball 1. Here's the 1-0 from Sayers, and that's outside for ball 2. Clifford walked in this inning and has scored already once. Has home run capability in that bat. Can he tie it here? He takes a look at strike 1 on the outside corner of the plate. Here's the 2-1, and that ball is also spanked into right field. This one is going to be caught, however, and that is going to do it. But the Jacks unloading 9 runs against the BeeJays, bringing this game back within 1 run. We head to the 4th. We have a whole new ball game, folks. Stick around. Should be a good one. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks.
Colorado Lumberjacks.
And we're back at Rock Canyon High School. We have a new ball game as the Jacks do exactly what they needed to do. They scored runs, and they scored runs in bunches. 9 runs in the bottom of the half of the third inning. And this game is now a 1-run game as Wyatt Bohannon steps into the box to face James Lawrence, who came in the last inning and got out of the inning.
Wyatt Bohannon.
So Bohannon will lead off the top of the fourth, 0-2 on the day. Struck out in the first and then grounded out into a double play in the second inning. He's looking for his first hit playing catcher today for the BeeJays. And here's the first pitch from Lawrence, and that is in there for strike one. So the count 0-1 against Bohannon. Middle infielders playing normal depth. Outfield in a tad. Center field shaded a little bit to left field. The 0-1 swing and a miss on a ball in the dirt. Now Lawrence quickly ahead. Lawrence looking for a 3-pitch strikeout to begin the fourth inning. Here's the 0-2, and that is outside for ball one. Maybe looking to get Bohannon to chase on that fastball that is just being hammered in there. So here's the 1-2 from Lawrence. Swing and a miss. Got him on a fastball strikeout. Bohannon's down for the third time today, and the Jacks get the leadoff man out.
Next up for the BeeJays, first baseman number 3, Jet Huffman.
Now Jet Huffman up to bat. 1 for 2 on the day with a single in the second. Rounding out to third in the third inning. Here's the first pitch from Lawrence. Swing and a miss again on a fastball. So Lawrence finding his groove a little bit. Only pitched 2 innings so far in this season. Here's the 0-1 to Huffman, and that ball is chopped to the third base side. Making the play is Macaroni. The throw over to first to Fagans is in time. And quickly 2 outs for the Jacks.
Now batting for the BeeJays, center fielder number 1, Seth Green.
So now that'll bring up Seth Green with 2 outs in the top of the fourth. How big would a 1-2-3 inning be here for the Jacks after putting up 9? Macaroni in at third base, playing at the edge of the grass. Here's the first pitch from Lawrence. Green showing bunt, pulls it back, ball 1. The 1-0 from Lawrence. Bunt sign on once again for Green. This time he'll pull back. And the count now 2-0. Lawrence looking in. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Green smacks that between the gap. And that's going to be a single for Seth Green. He'll get on to first base. And that'll bring up the top of the order. And Ben Finnegan, who his last at bat in the third,
first baseman number 12,
crushed a 2-run home run. And Lawrence's throw over to first base is wild and away. Green easily going to be able to take second base. So now the BeeJays have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs and Finnegan up to bat. Finnegan popped out to center field in the first inning, hit by pitch in the second. And as I just mentioned, a 2-run home run last inning. That third inning taking nearly 45 minutes, with a combined 12 runs being scored. Lawrence will take a look back at second base to see Green there. Perry trying to hold him on. Here's the first pitch to Finnegan. That's high and away for ball 1. Lawrence takes a long look in. Now he'll take a look back at second base. Perry and Green playing a little cat and mouse game. The 1-0 swing and a miss on a fastball outside by Finnegan. Count 1-1. Nider playing deep in right field. That's where the home run went in the last inning. Lawrence once again takes a look back at second base. And here's the 1-1. And that ball is chopped foul down the first base line, so the count now 1-2. Finnegan ahead. Lawrence ahead. Long look in for Lawrence. Getting a sign from Luke Rafka. Takes a look back at second base one more time. Here's the 1-2 on its way from Lawrence. And just getting enough of that to keep the at-bat alive was Finnegan, so the count remains 1-2. A goose egg would just be massive for the Jacks. It'd be their first 0 thrown up on the board defensively in this contest after scoring 9 in the last half inning. Can Lawrence get out Finnegan? Here's the 1-2. And once again, Finnegan grabbing a piece of that at the last second to keep this at-bat alive. And the longer this at-bat goes, the advantage swings in favor of Ben Finnegan. And if you're Lawrence, you got to look to just attack here. That's a one-run lead. Obviously, you don't want Green to score. But this fastball has been working for you this inning. Shakes off a couple of pitches from Luke Rafka. He's got his 1-2 coming. Takes a look back at Green. Green goes. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout by James Lawrence. And the Jacks get their first 0 of the game on the board defensively. They'll bat in the bottom of the fourth with a chance to take the lead. They trailed by 10. It's now 10-9. Stick around. You're watching this presentation of Colorado Lumberjacks baseball. Welcome back to Rock Canyon High School and Highlands Ranch, Colorado, for this Rocky Mountain Baseball League matchup between the home, your Colorado Lumberjacks, and the visitors, the Liberal BeeJays. Head to the bottom of the fourth inning.
Lumberjacks, number 22, first baseman Parker Fagans.
Parker Fagans, who had an RBI in the last inning, will lead things off against Sean Sayas, who came in a difficult spot. BeeJays at the time were up 10-5, and then it was a 3-run home run, an absolute moonshot in the last inning by Kyler Vaughn to bring this game to 10-9, where we are right now, count 0-1 against Fagans. Here's the pitch to Fagans, and that is going to get down into right field. That's going to be a leadoff single again for the Jacks. So back-to-back innings with leadoff singles, and the Jacks once again in business.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 34, Elias Frenier.
Now comes on Elias Frenier. He also had an RBI in the last inning. A part of that 9-run bottom of the third. Fagans gets a sizable lead at first base. Here's the pitch from Sayas. Swing and a miss by Frenier. Very late on that fastball outside. So Sayers working. The 1-0 swing and a miss again by Frenier. That one dropping a little bit low in the zone. Frenier was looking for that. 11th hit of the game for the Jacks. Fagans with a lead at first base. Here is the 0-2 swing and a miss. 3 straight pitches, 3 straight swings, 3 straight misses. And Frenier goes down on strikes. They'll bring up Zach Perry.
Shortstop number 9, Zach Perry.
Perry, the shortstop for the Jacks, had an RBI double, tried to take third in the last inning, was thrown out at third, but still was able to score 2 runs. Fagans at first. There's the first pitch from Sayers, and that's in the dirt for ball 1 to Perry. Perry on the day, a single and a double, looking for his 3rd hit. And Fagans decides to go to throw to the second base. Is going to get into the outfield, and that's going to be a steal for Fagans. It was an uncomfortable steal. Fagans got caught in between the bags going. Sayers had a chance to easily throw him out. The throw to second base was a little bit away from Ben Finnegan. Now the Jacks with the man on second. Still 1-0 count to Perry. Attacking the base paths have been the Jacks in the last 2 innings. That's their 5th steal. Here's the 1-0 to Perry, and that ball is chopped to Ueda short. The throw over to first is in time to Finnegan. So that's the 2nd out of the inning. Fagans will go to 3rd.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, second baseman number 12, Bryson Satterley.
Now, Bryson Satterley, who singled in the last inning and came around to score on the home run from Vaughn, has the tying run in this game 90 feet away in Parker Fagans. Here's the first pitch, and that is low and away for ball 1. Big chance for Satterley to climb the Lumberjacks all the way back in this game. Fagans. Normal lead at 3rd. Here's the 1-0, and that is low and inside for ball 2. Gino Maccarini on deck. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the 2nd. Flew out to center field in the 3rd. Sean Sayers, the chance to get out of this inning unscathed. Here's the 2-0 to Satterley, and that ball is smacked. Ueda's going to be able to make the play. The throw to Finnegan is in time, and the Jacks score no runs. They leave Fagan stranded at 3rd, but a couple more hits for the Jacks, climbing their way back into this ball game. They still trail 10-9. We head to the 5th inning at Rock Canyon High School. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. And we're back here at Rock Canyon High School. Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Thrilled to be with you on what has turned into an absolutely lovely evening in Highlands Ranch. We head to the fifth inning. The score 10-9 in favor of the Liberal BeeJays. Trent Uyeda will lead things off for the BeeJays against James Lawrence, who came in the last inning and got 2 strikeouts. Looking to keep this game within 1. And the first pitch from Lawrence is in there for strike 1. Uyeda has reached all 3 times, 2 singles and a hit by pitch, including an RBI back in the second inning. The 0-1 to Uyeda is right past him for strike 2, and these fans can now sense that they are 1 strikeout away from free queso, courtesy of Torchy's Tacos, as we are in the 5th inning. So Lawrence ahead 0-2 against Uyeda. And here is the 0-2 pitch. And that bounces in for ball 1. Lawrence looking in. The 1-2 to Uyeda. And that ball is slapped into center field, and it is going to be caught by Kyler Vaughn, running in to make the grab for the first out of the inning.
For the BeeJays, third baseman number 7, Cole Manuel.
So no queso, but an important first out for the Jacks. Now bring up Cole Manuel, who's been, can't say enough about how on fire he's been since he stepped into the ball game yesterday in the 6th inning. He's batted 6 times. He's been on all 6 times. Now with 1 out in the 5th inning, he takes a look at a first pitch ball outside, and the throw from Grafka is a little high and gets into center field. With the count 1-0 against Cole Manuel. Hit by a pitch in the 1st inning, RBI single in the 2nd, and then walked in the 3rd. Did not bat in the 4th inning. He's up here in the top of the 5th. Open stance for Manuel. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss. He was looking to hit that ball all the way onto the road out in left field. Count 1-1. So now here's the 1-1 from Lawrence, and that is high and inside for ball 2. So the count 2-1. Satterley at second deep. This ball is going to go to Perry at shortstop. The throw over to Fagans is in time for out number 2. So 2 quick outs for the Jacks. And that'll bring up
Next up for
Cal
BeeJays,
Anthony.
right fielder number 19, Cal Anthony.
Cal Anthony reached in the 1st, reached in the 2nd, scored a sac fly in the 3rd inning. And what an important out this would be once again for the Jacks. 2 outs, no men on, 5th inning. First pitch from Lawrence outside for ball 1. As it looks like actually a little bit of rain is starting to fall here in Highlands Ranch. Out of the corner of my eye, some liquid sunshine. As we used to say as kids, the 1-0 pitch outside for ball 2. Just a light drizzle, nothing to be warned about. Still some sunshine to the west of us. The 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss by Anthony. So Lawrence looks in. Behind the count, 2-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that is outside for ball 3. So Anthony ahead, looking to reach for the 3rd time in his 4th at-bat. Lawrence has his pitch. Here's the 3-1. And that ball is fouled high in the air. Oh, and that made contact with us somehow. Whoa, Nelly. Did we get that on camera? I hope we did. Nearly taking out my phone and Wi-Fi router. Is the ball down there? All right, perfect. Full count. Okay, let's reset. Full count, 2 outs, no men on here in the top of the 5th. Fans want queso. Here's the 3-2 pitch, and that is outside for ball 4. So still 2 outs. Anthony advances to first on the walk.
Now batting for the BeeJays, designated hitter number 44, Noah Giovanelli.
Noah Giovanelli now up to bat. We got that on every single camera, so everybody will have to believe me. I didn't think that was possible with how high this fence was. But Giovanelli is now up to bat. The first pitch is in the dirt for ball 1. Giovanelli with a single, a walk, and a sac fly in this game, ahead in the count 1-0 against Lawrence. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Anthony goes, and the pitch out is way outside. Anthony will glide into second base, and the BeeJays have a runner in scoring position. Now it's Giovanelli ahead 2-0, the designated hitter. Sonoma, California native. Lawrence takes a look back at second base, takes another look back, and here is the 2-0. And that is in there for strike 1. Lawrence taking a look once again back at second base. Perry holding him on. The 2-1 is fouled in the air. This one high into the bullpen, and that one is going to get over the fence and out into the parking lot. But the count now 2-2. Once again, queso on the line here with every strikeout in the 5th inning. And the count now 2-2. Might have a Jackie Moon corn dog situation here for the Jacks. But now Lawrence looks in. Anthony takes a large lead at second base. Perry holding him on. Lawrence takes a look back. Here is the 2-2. And that ball is chopped, and that's going to get in between the gap. Anthony's going to round third, and he is going to head home. He's going to be safe as an RBI single for Giovanelli. And the lead is now 2. The score 11-9 in favor of the BeeJays.
Now batting for the BeeJays, left fielder number 20, Caden Isola.
The 3rd RBI of the game for Noah Giovanelli. He is on first, and Caden Isola up to bat, grounded out to the pitcher back in the 3rd inning. Giovanelli with a short lead at first. Here's the first pitch from Lawrence, and that ball is skied into the air. And Vaughn is going to camp under and make the grab. So the BeeJays extend their lead. They get 1. We head to the bottom half of the 5th inning. The Jacks trail by 2. We'll be right back from Rock Canyon High School once we check our equipment. You're watching this presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. And welcome back to Rock Canyon High School, where that liquid sunshine I talked about a couple of seconds ago has turned into a deluge, and that is putting it lightly. Fans taking cover as the rain's starting to come down in buckets, and it is incredibly surprising because, as you can see to the west of us, it is perfectly blue, and that is a pitch in there for a strike. Leadoff batter Macarini up to bat. Flew out to center field back in the third inning. Macarini fouls that back into the glove. That's going to be a called third strike on the swing. So Macarini down. And that will now bring up Luke Grafka.
Catcher number 6, Quinn Luke Grafka.
Sean Say is still working here, and Luke Grafka fouls that first pitch high into the air. I'm going to take a step back with every foul ball now. Because I got to be honest with you, that one that made contact with our Wi-Fi router, that one looked like it was going 20 yards behind us, but you always got to be careful, especially when you're calling a baseball game. Here's the 0-1 to Luke Grafka. That is in the dirt for ball one. The 1-1 pitch followed back right into the protective fencing in front of us for strike two. So the count 1-2. And the 1-2 pitch away for a ball. Rain's really coming down now. And here is the 2-2 pitch from Sayas. Swing and a miss on a check swing by Luke Grafka. Unsure about that one, and he goes down, and that's 2 quick outs for the BeeJays.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
Now they'll bring up Cooper Nider, who in the third inning, that 9-run third inning, singled and had a RBI double. Now up to bat. First pitch. Ball one. We got umbrellas out here at Rock Canyon High School. I see one fella down there with a crazy creek over his head. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that is in there for strike one. Now the 1-1 pitch. That ball is slapped to the third base side. The throw over to first. It's going to be a long one. Bouncing ball gets past Finnegan. And Nider is going to advance to first base on what should be an error. And he will actually be awarded second base as well.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, center fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
So now they'll bring up Kyler Vaughn, who got this game originally back within one with a 3-run home run in the third. He had a single and a 3-run shot. And now he has a runner on second base with 2 outs and a chance to bring this game back within one. We play in the bottom of the 5th here. Here's the first pitch, and that is low for ball one. Vaughn grounded out to second base in the first inning. So 2 for 3 on the day. Nider with a large lead at second base. Uyeda not holding him on. That ball is going to be chopped foul down the third base line, so the count 1-1. Jed Huffman at second base is actually doing the holding on of Cooper Nider. The count 1-1, and as quickly as the rain has come, it is gone. That's Colorado for you in a nutshell. Sayers takes a look back at second base. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that ball is fouled back into the parking lot. So the count 1-2. Sayers ahead in the count 1-2. A swing from Vaughn could get this back within one. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that bounces in. Bohannon keeps that in front of him. Count remains 2-2. Sayers taking a look back at second base. Count 2-2. 2 outs, bottom of the fifth. Here's the 2-2 pitch, and that is high and inside for ball 3. Count now full. We are nice and dry in the Rock Canyon press box here. I do feel bad for our compatriot from Liberal, Kansas down there out in the rain. Here's the 3-2 pitch from Sayers, and that bounces in. Bohannon blocks it. Runner will take third in the confusion. Nider steals third. So now runners at the corners for Caden Clifford.
Now batting for the Lumberjacks, left fielder number 20, Caden Clifford.
Clifford walked in the first, walked in the third, flew out to right field to end the third inning. Tying run at first base. Here's the first pitch from Sayers, and that's in there for strike 1. Sayers takes a look over at third base. Here is the 0-1, and that ball is outside for ball 1. Missing by a very small margin there was Sean Sayers. Nider at third, Vaughn at first. You wonder if Vaughn's going to take second base here. Sayers takes a look, and Clifford follows that one back as Vaughn was on his way to second base. So the count now 1-2. Clifford protecting there. You have to believe Vaughn will be on the move again, and you wonder if Sayers will throw over to first base. Sayers takes a look at third, doesn't take a look back at first. Here is the 1-2. Vaughn stays put, and that ball's in the dirt for ball 2. Vaughn with a short first lead. We'll wonder if he'll take a little bit more. Here's the 2-2 from Sayers. Vaughn goes, and again, another foul ball from Clifford. A little late on that one as it goes back over the protective fencing on the side of the BeeJays. So the count remains 2-2. 12 hits in the ballgame for the Jacks, 11 for the BeeJays. As we eclipse hour 2 in this ballgame. Here's the 2-2 to Clifford, and that low for ball 3. Vaughn this time will successfully take second base. Now the tying run at second. And the count full in the bottom of the 5th. Big pitch upcoming for Sean Sayers. Even bigger pitch upcoming for Caden Clifford. Bases loaded. Parker Fagan's waiting in the wing. Tying run at second base. Here's the 3-2 from Sayers, and that is outside for ball 4. Bases are loaded for Parker Fagans, and the leading run is at first.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, first baseman number 22, Parker Fagans.
And this is the guy you want up to bat if you're the Jacks. Single in the first, single in the third, single in the fourth. An RBI back in the third inning, and he's got the bases loaded, 2 outs, and a tough spot for Sean Sayers. We do have a couple of players warming up in the BeeJays bullpen, but this at-bat can make things real interesting in this ballgame. Here's Sayers against Fagans. Here's the first pitch to Fagans, and that ball is popped high into the air, first base side. Does Finnegan have the room to make the grab? He does. So a first pitch follow out by Parker Fagans ends the attack for the Jacks. They score no runs. We head to the 6th inning at Rock Canyon High School. It'll be the top of the 6th. The BeeJays will bet. You're watching the Colorado Lumberjacks baseball. Welcome back to Rock Canyon High School and Highlands Ranch. The rain is gone, although it doesn't look like we're going to be completely done with Mother Nature. Here's the wind. Died down for now, but it does seem to be picking back up a little bit. I do believe we have a pinch hitter here, as this does not look like Wyatt Bohannon. We'll update you on who this is in just a second. We also have a new pitcher for the Jacks, as Trent Jacobs is now in the ball game. So we do have a pinch hitter in the game for Wyatt Bohannon. This is Cade Adams. And Jacobs count now 1-1.
Pinch hitting number 38, Cade Adams.
So Jacobs, a lefty, coming in to face the righty Adams. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is just inside for ball 2. The 2-1 pitch to Adams, and that is low for, I guess, which is now ball 4. He must have missed a pitch. So Adams in his first at-bat walks, and the leadoff man is on for the BeeJays.
Now batting for the BeeJays, first baseman number 3, Jet Huffman.
Now Jet Huffman. Up to bat. 1 for 3 on the day. Leadoff man on, and Cade Adams. And the first pitch from Jacobs is inside for ball 1. Two consecutive ground outs to third base for Huffman as he takes a look at ball 2. Jacobs takes a look over at first base. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that ball is smacked into left field. Adams is going to hold up at second base. Huffman is going to get to first. And now the first 2 men on for the BeeJays here in the 6th.
Now batting for the BeeJays, center fielder number 1, Seth Green.
And now Seth Green, who has a double and a single in this game, steps up to bat with another run in scoring position out there at second base. Jacobs taking a look back at second base. Here's the first pitch to Green. Breaking ball that he fouls back behind home plate. Strike one. Adams at second, Huffman at first. Green up to bat against Trent Jacobs. Swing and a miss again by Green on a breaking ball. So the count quickly 0-2. This would be a big strikeout for Jacobs. Taking a look back at second base, Adams with the big lead. Another breaking ball is smacked into left field by Green. This one danger, and this one's going to get down. Adams going to round third. Huffman on his horse is going to slide into third, and that's going to be an RBI double for Seth Green. So Huffman over to third, Green at second.
First baseman number 12, Ben Finnegan.
Score now 12-9, still no outs in the top of the sixth. Top of the order now up to bat, Ben Finnegan. And a two-run home run back in the third inning, struck out in the fourth. And here's the first pitch from Jacobs, and that is in there for strike one. BeeJays at one point led this game 10-0 as Finnegan swings at strike two. Jacks were able to get 9 back in the third, and since that, the BeeJays have been able to add 2 more runs to extend their lead at 12-9. The second straight batter, Trent Jacobs ahead 0-2. And Finnegan fouls this one back into the catcher. Count will remain 0-2. Look, Rafka taking an extra second here. Actually, I believe that ricocheted off of Finnegan. So now he is slowly making his way back into that lefty batter's box. Green at second base, Huffman at third. 0-2 count. Here's the 0-2 pitch. And that is high for ball one. Look, Rafka trying to frame that. Home plate umpire not going away from his gut decision. The count 1-2, and here's the 1-2 pitch from Jacobs. Swing and a miss on a breaking ball. Got Finnegan out in front of it, and that's the first out of the inning for the Jacks.
Now batting for the BeeJays, shortstop number 29, Trenton Ueda.
Now Trenton Ueda up to bat, and he swings at a first pitch. And Fagan's running over. It's going to make the grab. He'll look back towards home plate. Huffman not going, and a massive second out for the Jacks as Fagans was running over and made the grab right up against the fence.
Third baseman number 7, Cole Manuel.
Now the ever-dangerous Cole Manuel up to bat. Grounded out to the second baseman back in the fifth inning. And Jacobs with a chance to get out of this inning, only surrendering one run. Lefty on righty here. Here's the first pitch to Manuel, and that ball is outside for ball one. Green still at second base with a sizable lead. Neither Perry nor Satterley holding him on, and that's another ball low and away for Jacobs. Cal Anthony waiting on deck. And that is in there for strike one, outside corner of the plate. Good pitch by Trent Jacobs. Count 1-2. Count 2-1, apologies. Here's the 2-1, and that is a breaking ball. Must have been low for ball three. fans to our right did not appreciate that call, but here's the 3-1 pitch from Jacobs. And that is in there for strike two, an incredibly delayed strike two call by our home plate ump, going through all stages of emotion there, but the count full, 2 outs, big pitch upcoming for Trent Jacobs. Here is the 3-2 from Jacobs, and that ball is sent into shallow left field. And Clifford will make the grab to end the inning, so the Jacks give up one more run, but the BeeJays leave 2 stranded in scoring position. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Jacks trail by 3. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back, Ben Canvasser for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Rock Canyon High School, the location. The BeeJays versus the Jacks. The game. We are in the bottom of the 6th inning. The Jacks still trail 12-9. And Elias Frenier now up to bat. Frenier with a RBI single in the 3rd, struck out back in the 4th inning, and he takes a look at a first pitch ball from Sean Sayes, who came in for Preston Roberg, who started. And Frenier follows this one back down the 3rd base line, out of play. So we count 1-1. Zach Perry on deck for the Jacks. And Sayers will step off the mound as it looks like he may have something in his eye that he wants to pay some attention to. Back on the rubber. And here's the 1-1 to Frenier. That ball followed back behind home plate. Frenier a little bit late on that fastball up high. So the count 1-2. Zero wind. Here's the 1-2, and that ball is mashed foul over the fence, and that one is going to cross the street and almost make its way onto the main road here behind Rock Canyon. Here's the 1-2 again to Frenier. And that ball is going to be smacked into right field on the ground. A leadoff single for Elias Frenier. And the Jacks are in business with the leadoff man on in the 6th.
Next up for your Lumberjacks, shortstop number 9, Zach Perry.
Now that brings up Zach Perry. RBI back in the 3rd, struck out in the 4th, grounded into, RBI in the 3rd, grounded out to short back in the 4th inning. Also singled in the 2nd. Sayas throws back over to first base to Frenier. Now Perry will call time to adjust his armband. Decent-sized lead for Frenier at first base. Here's the first pitch to Perry. He grounds that. Uyeda. Huffman. First base. And it's not going to be a double play as Perry beats the throw to first, but the leadoff man is out in Frenier. So fielder's choice for Perry.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, second baseman number 12, Bryson Satterley.
So now that'll bring up Bryson Satterley, and I believe that is going to be the end of the day for Sean Sayes. Actually, The manager's just going to come out to have some words with the umpire, not appreciating the call over at first base, just getting a clarification. Short conversation. Now Satterley up to bat. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the second, singled in the third, and then grounded out to short back in the fourth inning. So it's a short conversation. The two umpires will gather now to make a ruling on this play, whether or not Perry was actually out at first base. I don't believe a decision has been reached that will favor the liberal BeeJays. So Perry at first. One out, bottom of the sixth inning. And Satterley looking to get on the bag for the second time today. Here's the first pitch to Satterley, and that is a fastball that stays high for ball one. Perry with a sizable lead at first base. Sayas doesn't take a look over there. There's the 1-0 pitch, and that's inside for ball two. One out here in the bottom of the sixth. Jacks trail by 3. Back-to-back innings scoring 1 run as Sayas throws over to first base. Perry gets back in time. After being shut out in the fourth inning, the BeeJays come back with 1 run in the fifth, 1 run in the sixth. That fourth inning, the only scoreless inning of the game for the BeeJays. The third inning, the only inning where the Jacks have scored when they put 9 up is Satterley fouls that ball back into the fence. So they count out 2-1. Pitch from Sayas is fouled into the air. Finnegan over there to make the grab, and Finnegan is going to make the catch. So 2 outs now in the bottom of the sixth. Second consecutive inning where Finnegan's had to make a play at first base in foul territory.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, third baseman number 26, Gino Macarini.
Now Gino Macarini up to bat. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the second, flew out to center in the third, and then struck out last inning. Macarini with a chance to do something here. Swings at a first pitch strike. Count 0-1. Perry at first with a large lead. Here's the 0-1 pitch. That ball is sent high into the air into left field. This one's deep. This one's trouble. This one is up against the wall. Perry was on the run already. He is going to score. Macarini in a second with an RBI double. And the Jacks have their 10th. Big clutch hitting for Gino Macarini. His first hit of the game is a big
Next
one.
for your Lumberjacks, catcher number 6, Quinn Lubrafka.
Quinn Lucrefta now up to bat. Strikeout walk and a fly out in this game. Macarini at second base. The first pitch from Sayas is in there for strike 1. So a good 2-out double for Macarini to bring this game closer. The 0-1 pitch to Lucrefta. Lucrefta, apologies, is low and outside for ball 1. Macarini with a large lead back there at second base. Sayas takes a look back there. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is outside, but must have caught the plate. That's strike 2. Lucrefta behind on the count. Macarini at second. Here's the 1-2 pitch. That bounces in. Adams, the new catcher, blocks that. So the count 2-2. Cooper Nider on deck has reached the last 3 at-bats he has had. Sayas takes a look back at second base. Here's the 2-2, and that ball fouled back into the fence. Great job by Lucrefta to keep that at-bat alive, fouling off that high fastball. Here's the 2-2. And that is right down the middle low for ball 3, so the count full. Here's the 3-2. Fouled back. Making contact with the umpire there. He was unsure where that ball ended up. Ended up in the hand of Adams. So the count remains full. Big spot. The catcher number 6 from the Jacks. Sayers looks in, takes a look back at second base. Here's the full count pitch, and that is outside for ball 4. So the Jacks now with 2 men on and 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th for Cooper Nider.
Next up for the Lumberjacks, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
Nider in a big spot. Game-tying run at first base. Nider with a single and a double in the 3rd inning, reached on an error in the 5th. Here's the first pitch to Nider, and that's low, and it gets away from Adams. Both runners will advance. So now 2 runners in scoring position. The tying run at second base here for the Jacks. Nider will step back into the box. That one getting away from Adams, who's catching in his first inning in this game. Caught the entirety of the game yesterday for the BeeJays. Now Say is in a little bit of trouble here. Here's the second pitch and a swing and a miss by Nider. Nice fastball down the middle. Infield chipping in the gaps. Luke Rafta doing a good job of keeping those middle infielders paying attention to him. Here's the 1-1 from Sayers. And does that one make contact with Nider? I believe it did, but he did end up swinging at that. So it'll be strike 2, count 1 and 2. Must have followed it off with the butt of that bat. Count 1 and 2 with 2 outs. Tying run at second base. Does Nider have one more hit in him? Here's the 1-2 from Sayers. And that ball is smacked on the third base line. That's fair. 1 run will score. Luke Rafter will come around third. He can jog home. Nider on his way to second. He'll hold up there. But this game is all tied up off the bat of Cooper Nider. What a night for him. A 2-out, 2-run RBI double.
So next
For number 4 and goal.
Center fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
And I believe we're going to have a pitching change here. Sean says his day is done. He gives up 7 runs, only 5 of those earned. And that's the end of his day. The Jacks have tied it up. We'll step aside when we come back, top of the order. Kyler Vaughn up to bat. You're watching this presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. We're back here at Rock Canyon.
The
Ben
BeeJays
Camps are
have
with you.
change, placing
Bottom
number
of the sixth
18,
inning, and the Jacks are on one again.
Number 9, Braxton
Scoring
Schenkel.
3 runs, including a clutch RBI double by Cooper Nider, his second RBI double of the game, and he's been phenomenal. A single back in the third, a 2-run RBI double in the third, and now another 2-run RBI double in the sixth inning. And now top of the order up with the leading run on second base with Cooper Nider, and it's Kyler Vaughn, who already has a 3-run shot, grounded out to second in the first, and then a single 3-run home run and a walk back in the fifth. With a golden chance here against the new pitcher, Braxton Schenkel, on the mound for the BeeJays. Here's Trenkel's first pitch, and that one gets away from Adams. Adams having some trouble finding that, and Nider is able to advance to third. So 1-0 against Vaughn, and not the first pitch you were looking for if you're Schenkel. Schenkel, a righty pitcher facing the righty Vaughn. Infield playing deep. The leading run for the Jacks at third. Here's the 1-0 from Schenkel, and that ball is fouled high into the air. Is Finnegan going to be able to get under that one? He is not. That ball landed very close to the fence. Instead, it's just a foul ball, count 1-1. So count 1-1 against Vaughn. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball low for ball 2. Nider at third base. Here's the 1-2 from Schenkel. And that ball is flared into right field. Is this one going to go foul? It is. Is running over there to try to make the grab was Cale Anthony. The count 2-2. So Vaughn will now step back into the box in a big spot in the bottom of the sixth. Jacks have already scored 3. They've done enough to tie this game up. Do they have a little bit more in this bottom half of the sixth inning to potentially take the lead? Remember, the BeeJays had a man on second and third with no outs in the top half of this inning, and were only able to get 1 run in. Ended up leaving 2 men stranded. 2-2 from Schenkel. Swing and a miss by Vaughn. Big strikeout for Braxton Schenkel, coming into a tough spot with a man on third. But the Jacks get 3. We have a tied ball game. We head to the 7th inning from Rock Canyon. Stick around. Should be an exciting conclusion of this Rocky Mountain Baseball League match. Back here at Rock Canyon High School, set to begin the 7th inning of action between the BeeJays from Liberal, Kansas, and your Colorado Lumberjacks. Jacks scores 3 in the bottom half of the sixth
Leading
inning
off
to
for the
tie
BeeJays,
this
right
game
fielder
up 12
number
apiece.
19,
14 hits
Cal
in the game.
Anthony.
14 hits in this game for the Jacks, 13 for the BeeJays. Trent Jacobs on the mound delivers a first pitch strike in there. It's Cal Anthony up to bat. The 0-1 pitch is in there for ball one, count 1-1. Jacobs working quickly. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is outside for ball two. Two-one pitch. Low and inside for ball three. And that is actually ball four, second time this game. Apologies for missing that. But Anthony walks to first base and the leadoff man on for the BeeJays.
Next up for the BeeJays, designated hitter number 44, Noah Giovanelli.
Noah Giovanelli now up to bat. RBI back in the fifth inning to extend the lead at the time for the BeeJays. Anthony with a large lead. Jacobs throws it in. There's a block from Luke Refka. Giovanelli with 2 RBIs, 1 on a sac fly and 1 on a single. The 1-0 pitch from Jacobs. Fastball outside for ball two. Jacobs taking a look over at first base, and now he'll throw over to chase Anthony back. Giovanelli, the designated hitter. Here's the 2-0 pitch to him, and that's low in the dirt for ball three. Now Luke Refka will go out to have a chat with his pitcher. 27 combined hits in this contest so far. 14 combined runs between these two teams. It was a similar game last night as the two teams were tied at 11, and then it was a 5-run inning for the BeeJays to extend their lead. Jacobs takes a look over at first base, and that 3-0 pitch is in there for strike one. Count 3-1 against Giovanelli. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and that's low and away for ball four. Anthony makes his way to second base as the ball gets behind Luke Refka. Apologies.
Next up for the BeeJays, left fielder number 20, Caden Nice.
So 2 men on for the BeeJays. No outs in the top of the 7. Caden Isola up to bat. Anthony taking the sizable lead at second base. Nobody there to hold him on. That's a breaking ball high and away for ball one. One 0 pitch. And that is in the dirt for ball two. So the count now 2-0, and now a decision is going to be made on this at bat as the coach for the Jacks coming out to have a word with his pitcher. Jacobs has walked the first 2 batters of this inning. Runners at second and first, no outs. Wind now beginning to blow in from left field out towards center. Conversation being had between the entirety of the infield for the Jacks. Ben Campbell's here for the Colorado Lumberjacks. Thrilled to have you with us in what has been an incredibly exciting game. It was 10-0 in the top of the third inning for the BeeJays, then a 9-run bottom half of the third got the Jacks back within 1. BeeJays would add 2 runs, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, before a 3-run inning in the top half, or the bottom half of the sixth inning for the Jacks to tie things up. But now it's the BeeJays again threatening with 2 men on and no outs. And Trent Jacobs in a tough spot once again. Was in a similar spot in the last inning, had a man on second and third with no outs, already giving up a run, and then was able to get 3 consecutive outs to get out of the inning. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that ball is fouled high into the air. And I'm taking a step back because I didn't see where that one went. And now Zola is still ahead of the count, 2-1. Anthony at second base, Giovanelli at first. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss by Azola. Standing flat-footed on that swing and looks a little bit upset with himself as he reached for that ball that was clearly on the outside portion of the strike zone, so the count 2-2. Jacobs taking a look back at second base. Here's the 2-2, and that ball smacked to the second baseman. The chance for 2 is still on. The throw to first is not going to happen, so they'll get Giovanelli out at second, but now runners at the corners with 1 out, and up to bat comes Cade Adams.
Batting for the BeeJays, Cade Adams.
Now Anthony at third, Azola at first. Adams walked in his first at-bat. And there's a first pitch swing by Adams, and this is going to be caught. And Anthony is going to tag from third and get home, so the BeeJays have the run. Adams with a sac fly RBI. And now the score is 13-12 in favor for the visitors from Liberal, Kansas. Jed Hoffman now up to bat.
Next up for the BeeJays, first baseman number 3, Jet Huffman.
Huffman singled in the last inning. Huffman swings at a first pitch, and that ball is deep. That one's going to get between the gap. Around third, screaming. Izola, he is going to get home. It's going to be a double for Jed Huffman, and now the lead is 2 runs. It's 14-12. And Huffman delivers.
Next up for the BeeJays, center fielder number 1, Seth Green.
Seth Green now up to bat. RBI double in the 6th inning. And now Jacobs will step off. And Green was showing the bunt sign, and I believe the home plate umpire is going to call this a foul ball. Made a lot of contact there with Green. Didn't hear much of the bat. But as it remains, the count 0-1 against Green. Green with 4 hits in this game. The 0-1 pitch from Jacobs is outside. Ben Finnegan, who after that 3-run home run with 2 consecutive strikeouts waiting on deck. Here's the 1-1 from Jacobs. That ball is going to be smacked. Fagans is going to make the play. The flip over to first base is going to be in time. Good play there by Trent Jacobs. The BeeJays get 2. They have the lead back once again. But the Jacks will bat in the bottom half of the 7. We'll go to the stretch at Rock Canyon High School. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. Welcome back to Rock Canyon High School in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Beautiful evening we have here for some baseball. Jacks find themselves down 14-12, heading to the bottom half of the seventh inning. Braxton Trinkle still on the mound for the BeeJays. Things are going to be led off by Caden Clifford, who besides a fly out to the right fielder in the third inning, walked in the first, walked in the third, walked in the fifth, and how big would it be to have a guy like Clifford on base to lead things off? Fagans to follow, and then Elias Fernier. Fernier singled back in the sixth inning. Kate Adams has some trouble throwing the ball. There's been a couple of catchers for the BeeJays have not been able to transfer the ball into their hand. But here we go. The fans have stretched. And we're here in the bottom half of the seventh inning. We're leading things off, Caden Clifford. Clifford had a big two-run home run in the first inning.
Left fielder number 20, Caden Clifford.
The first pitch from Trinkle inside for ball one. As I was saying, Clifford homered in the first inning yesterday to give the Jacks the lead in the first. Two-run shot. The second pitch from Trinkle is low for ball two. Clifford with an open stance. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that is in there for strike one. Trinkle working incredibly fast here. The 2-1 pitch is outside corner of the plate for strike two. Count now 2-2. Trinkle quick again, and there's a swing and a miss by Clifford. A low fastball outside, and Clifford's down on strikes. So here comes Parker Fagans.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, first baseman number 22, Parker Fagans.
Fagans singled in the first, singled in the third, singled in the fourth. Then flew out to the first baseman to end the inning back in the fifth. Fagans versus Trinkle. First pitch swinging. Fagans grounds it to the shortstop. Uyeda makes a phenomenal throw over to first and a great play, and that's quickly 2 outs against the Jacks.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, designated hitter number 34, Elias Fernier.
So Elias Fernier now up to bat. Singled back in the sixth inning. Looks at a first pitch ball from Trinkle. Trinkle working so fast, the 1-0 pitch is outside for ball two. Now he'll take a quick break, work behind the mound, right back onto the rubber. Already has his pitch. Here's the 2-0. And that is in there for strike one. Here's the 2-1, and that ball is smacked into the air. This one's going to be in the shallow left field. And Zola makes a diving grab. Oh, he dropped the ball. It looked like for a second he had it, but then as he rolled over, that ball popped loose. And Fernier on first base with a single.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, shortstop number 9, Zach Perry.
So the tying run at the plate, nearly an incredibly acrobatic catch. So now Trinkle, we'll see how quickly he works with the runner on first base. Here's the first pitch to Perry, and that's low and away for ball one. I was trying to keep count on that last at bat. It was about 4 or 5 seconds before in between each pitch from Trinkle. 1-0 to Perry, and that is low for ball number two. Perry does have some power. How big would a home run be here? Number 9. Here's the 2-0 pitch, and that ball is fouled back behind home plate. Trinkle with a glove that can only be described as Baja Blast color. And now here's his 2-1, and that stays inside, and I believe that made contact with Perry. It did. He'll now jog down to first base Two batters on with 2 outs for Bryson Satterley.
Up next for the Lumberjacks, second baseman number 12, Bryson Satterley.
Satterley got a hit back in the 3rd inning. Since then, it's been a ground out to the shortstop. And then a fly out to the first baseman back in the 6th inning. Tying run at first, the leading run at home plate. Trenkle with the pitch, and that is high for ball 1. And now I believe we're going to have some time called. And we will have some conversations to be had with Braxton Trenkle, who was so good in those first 2 at-bats. A strikeout of Caden Clifford and then a 1-pitch ground out to Parker Fagans. Since then, it's been a single for Elias Franier. Not too much to blame him on that. It would have been an incredible diving catch for Caden Isola. But now just resetting things here, 14-12 to score. BeeJays lead the Jacks. We play in the bottom half of the 7th inning, 15 hits apiece for both of these teams. And now Trenkle getting some fist bumps from the rest of his infield as the pitching coach makes his way off the field. Pristine sky out here in Highlands Ranch as the temperatures drop to something that is well more manageable for the majority of people here. Count 1-0 against Bryson Satterley. Trenkle takes a look back at second base. Here's the 1-0 to Satterley, and that is in there for strike 1. Gino Macarini on deck at a 2-run RBI, or a RBI double. That ball bounces in, and Adams does well to block that. Macarini had an RBI double back in the 6th inning to score the 11th run of the game. Apologies, the 10th run of the game for the Jacks. Count now 2-1 against Satterley. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that one is outside again, and Adams has to reach again. So now the count 3-1, and a potentially dangerous situation for the BeeJays as the Jacks 1 pitch away from potentially loading the bases up for Macarini. Here's the 3-1, and that is in there for strike 2. So now the pressure ratchets up just a little bit. Full count, 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, 2 men on. Bryson Satterley at the plate. Trenkle looks back. Here's the 3-2. Runners go, and that ball bounces. It gets away from Adams. And Franier was eyeing home plate, but it'll hold up at third.
Third baseman number 26, Gino Macarini.
So Satterley walks. He's on first. Franier on third. Perry on second. And I believe that's going to be the end of the day for Braxton Trenkle. And we are going to have a pitching change here for the BeeJays. We'll step aside when we come back. Bases loaded. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th. Jacks trail by 2. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks.
and tranquil number 11, Jack Tracy.
So welcome back to Rock Canyon. Let's reset the scene right now. Bases loaded for the Jacks, 2 outs. Jack Tracy, the new pitcher, a lefty for the BeeJays, going up against Gino Macarini. Macarini in a big spot, swings at a first pitch. In there for strike 1. Macarini with a single could potentially tie this game. With a double, perhaps give the Jacks the lead, but he's got to get around Jack Tracy. Lefty-righty matchup. Macarini open stance. Here's the 0-1, and that ball is popped high into the air into right field. Anthony is going to make the grab and end the inning. So the Jacks threaten with bases loaded, unable to get a run in. We head to the 8th inning at Rock Canyon High School. The BeeJays will bat in the top of the 8th. You're watching a presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. Welcome back to Highlands Ranch. Wind starting to pick up and blow out towards center field. We're in the 8th inning. The BeeJays lead the Jacks 14-12, 15 hits aside.
For the BeeJays, first baseman number 12, Ben Finnegan.
Now Ben Finnegan, the top of the order, up to bat. Back-to-back strikeouts in his last 2 at-bats since launching a 2-run home run back in the 3rd inning. Had a feeling the home runs wouldn't be as plentiful today as they were yesterday with the way the winds are blowing in. And the first pitch in there for Trent Jacobs, called strike. There is a pitcher warming up in the Jacks bullpen. The 0-1 pitch to Finnegan is smacked. Fagans knocks it down, keeps it into the infield. The play at first is not going to happen as that ball is going to get past Luke Krafka. And he's going 3. The throw is not going to be there. An aggressive base running from Ben Finnegan catches the Jacks sleeping as he's able to get to 3rd.
Up next for the BeeJays, shortstop number 29, Trenton Ueda.
So what looked to be let's not call it a routine infield grounder because it still was a tough play for Fagans to make, turns into Finnegan getting to 3rd. And now is there going to be a play at home? Luke Krafka can't make the tag. He can't get the ball. Now going to 2nd is going to be Ueda, and he's going to get there. And the play at 2nd is not going to go in favor of the Jacks. So Ueda at 2nd base. Finnegan comes home to score, and there's still no outs in the top of the 8th inning.
Now batting for the BeeJays, third baseman number 7, Cole Manuel.
Now Cole Manuel up to bat with another runner in scoring position. So a couple of fielding mistakes for the Jackson, a crucial time, lead to a BeeJays run. And now once again, that throw gets over the head of Jacobs. Luke Krafka having some trouble here in the top of the 8th inning. The throws haven't been perfect. I'm not putting it all on him. But a runner at second base in the lead now 3. Breaking ball outside. Goes for ball 2. So now officially the BeeJays have scored in every inning in this ball game except for the 4th inning. As we play in the 8th, the pitch from Jacobs is low and inside for ball 3. So Jacobs in a tough spot. Does have a base open at first. The 3-0 pitch is in there for strike 1. Cole Manuel, after getting on base in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd inning, is grounded out and flown out in the 5th and the 6th. Up to bat in the 8th with the BeeJays with a 3-run lead. The 3-0 pitch is fouled back and out of play. So the count now full. So with the count full, Jacobs in a tough spot here. He'll step off the plate. Manuel takes a look back at his dugout. Now, another time it has been called by Cole Manuel. Manuel with a very open stance. Uyeda at second base with a big lead. There's the 3-2 pitch, and that ball is spanked into center field. This one, trouble. This one is gone. A missile from Cole Manuel. A 2-run shot. And the BeeJays lead is now 5 in the top of the 8th.
Now batting for the BeeJays, right fielder number 19, Cal Anthony.
And you could tell right away the second that ball was hit, just by the sound of the bat, that one was gone, and the BeeJays dugout reacting accordingly to that. I believe this is going to be the end of Trent Jacobs. Looks like there is going to be a pitching change for the Lumberjacks. They now find themselves down 17-12 in the top of the 8th. In the top of the 8th. Looks like it's going to be Mason Regan, number 5 for the Jacks, coming on to pitch. We'll step aside and let him warm up. You're watching a presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. And we're back at the ballpark at Rock Canyon High School, top of the 8th inning. BeeJays put 3 on the board here in the top of the 8th, anchored by a 2-run home run by Cole Manuel. That was absolutely launched towards center field. Now Cal Anthony is going to be the first batter to face Mason Regan. Number 5 is coming in to pitch for the Jacks. We've eclipsed hour 3 in this ball game. Still top of the 8th. 15 hits a side. So 30 hits in this contest. 29 runs scored. And I thought we had a lot yesterday with a 27-run game. And we will see what Regan can do. Now with the bases empty, still no outs. As the Jacks look to reset. And here comes Cal Anthony. Anthony with a couple of RBIs, a couple of walks on the game. Righty facing a lefty. We resume action here. Here's the first pitch from Regan. Swing and a miss. And there for strike one. Here's the 0-1 from Regan, and that is in there for strike two, catching the outside corner of the plate. Regan ahead of the Nebraska Cornhusker, Cal Anthony. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and that is low for ball one. So here's the 1-2 from Regan. And that ball is sent high into the air into right field. This one's deep. This one is gone. Cal Anthony for the second time in 2 days with back-to-back home runs. He followed up a 2-run shot yesterday with a solo shot. He does the same thing again today. And the lead is now 18-12 for the BeeJays.
Next up for the BeeJays, designated hitter number 44, Gio Van Ellie.
Now Giovanelli now up to bat against Mason Regan, normally the second baseman for the Jacks. Is this one going to hit me again? He's looking right in my direction. That goes behind our press box here at Rock Canyon High School. So they count 0-1 against Giovanelli. There's a high fastball for ball one. Score 18-12. A 4-spot put up and still no outs here in the top of the eighth. And there is a high fastball for ball two. The 2-1 from Regan, and that is high again for ball three. So this BeeJays team currently ranks second in the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. Showing why, as they've hit 3 home runs in this game. The 3-1 is inside for ball four. So Giovanelli on.
Up next for the BeeJays, left fielder number 20, Caden Isola.
Caden Isola now up to bat. Got on base in the last inning with a walk. Apologies. Isola actually with a double in the last inning. Standing in there, and he ropes that into left field, and that one is gone. Caden Isola with the 3rd home run in this inning alone for the BeeJays. And it's a 2-run shot, and the lead is now 20-12. So a 2-run shot by Cole Manuel, a 1-run home run by Cal Anthony, and now another 2-run home run from Caden Isola. And that is the 20th run of the game for the BeeJays. Now Cade Adams up, and if you're Cade Adams, you have to believe this one is going as well.
Next up for the BeeJays, number 38, Cade Adams.
So here's the first pitch from Regan, and that ball is flared high into the air. Would have been a home run in an elevator shaft, but that one is out foul. Three hits in this inning, all 3 home runs for the BeeJays. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that is a breaking ball low and inside for ball one. The 1-1 from Regan, and that ball is chopped to the second base side Fagan's able to make the grab, and that is the first out of the inning for the Jacks.
Up next for the BeeJays, first baseman number 3, Jet Huffman.
Now that brings up Jet Huffman, who in the 6th inning singled and then in the 7th inning doubled. Huffman looking to keep the pressure on the Jacks. Here's the first pitch from Regan, and that is a breaking ball inside. Huffman standing in there from this angle looked like it was hitting him the whole way. At the last second, that ball dove in. It's ball 1. And that is in there for a strike for Regan. Count 1-1. Mason Regan, normally the second baseman for this Jacks team, a positional player coming in to pitch. There's the 1-1 pitch, and that bounces in the dirt for ball 2. It doesn't look like there's anybody warming up in the Jacks bullpen. Regan, the 4th pitcher of the game for the Jacks. Here's the 2-1. Swing and a miss to Huffman, and now Regan ahead in the count. Or apologies, even in the count, 2-2. No, ahead in the count. I'm giving him that. Here's the 2-2. That bounces in for ball 3. So now the count full for Jet Huffman. Mason Regan on the mound looking for his first strikeout of the season. The 3-2 pitch, and that is high for ball 4. So Seth Green now up to bat.
Up next for the BeeJays, center fielder number 1, Seth Green.
So Green, the lefty batter, working against the righty Mason Regan. Green with a phenomenal day at the plate. The first pitch is fouled back behind home plate. So count 0-1. Regan takes a look back at first base. Here is the 0-1 pitch, and that is in there for strike 2. So Regan ahead, 0-2. Everybody in the Jacks dugout on their feet, hoping Regan can get this strikeout. The 0-2 pitch, and that is inside. Nearly making contact with Green, so that is ball 1. Sun quickly setting here in Highlands Ranch. Outfield still full with some patrons out there in that right field. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that ball is fouled back behind home plate. Staying alive is Green. So Green back in the batter's box, working against Mason Regan. Here's the 1-2 from Regan. Swing and a miss. Regan struck him out. There's a big strikeout for Mason Regan, his first of the season. Now 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning, which has seen 3 balls go over the wall for the BeeJays.
Ben Finnegan.
Now here's Ben Finnegan up to bat. Finnegan led off this inning with a hit to the first baseman and then ended up on third after a couple of throwing errors. And the count 1-0. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that ball is slapped down the third base line going foul. Count 1-1. Finnegan already with a home run in this game, looking for his second. Mason Regan looking for his second strikeout of the inning. Count 1-1. 20-12 the score here in the top of the 8th inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that is low and inside for ball 2. Regan takes a look back at first base. Here's his 2-1 pitch. And that ball is smacked into center field, and that is trouble, and that is the 4th home run of the inning for the BeeJays. 2nd home run of the game for Ben Finnegan, and the lead is now 10. And Ben Finnegan, 2 home runs to center field and 2 2-run shots, and that is the 8th run of the inning for the BeeJays.
Shortstop number 29, Trenton Ueda.
So the score 22-12. And I believe Mason Regan is done pitching. 1 strikeout. 5 runs given up on 3 home runs. And we'll see who the new pitcher will be for the Jacks. And now Zach Perry is going to be the new pitcher for the Jacks. We'll step aside while he warms up. You're watching a presentation of the Rocky Mountain Baseball League. So we're back here at Rock Canyon High School, Highlands Ranch, Colorado. Top of the 8th inning for the BeeJays that have seen them score 8 runs. There's been 3 2-run home runs and 1 solo shot, that one by Cale Anthony. So a 4 home run inning for the BeeJays. Zach Perry will come in from shortstop to pitch. And he's going to throw to Trenton Ueda. First pitch, ball. 1-0 pitch, swing and a miss by Ueda. It's count 1-1. Ueda reached on an error in this inning. The 1-1 pitch is fouled back off one of the posts on the fence. So the count 1-2 for Zach Perry. Could he be the second position player to get a strikeout in this inning? Here's the 1-2 from Perry. And that is in there for a called third strike. Ueda not happy about it. But as it stands, the BeeJays score 8 on 4 home runs. They lead by a score of 22-12. The Jacks need a run here in the bottom of the 8th to keep this one going. Stick around. You're watching a presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks. We're back here at Rock Canyon High School, bottom of the 8th inning, do or die time for the Colorado Lumberjacks as they trail by 10 and do not want to be run rolled against the liberal BeeJays. Quinn Luke Rafka to lead things off for the Jacks, working against Jack Tracy, number 11. Tracy came in and got a fly out to left field with the bases loaded in the last inning and a potential chance to have tied the game for the Jacks. And then, if you weren't with us for the top half of this inning, let me give you a brief rundown of what occurred. It was a 2-run home run, a solo shot home run, another 2-run home run, and another 2-run home run, and that is why the score is 22-12 right now. Luke Rafka, apologies, that name is giving me some trouble today. Up at the plate to face Tracy. Takes a look at ball 1. Here's the 1-0 from Tracy. And that ball is smacked to the second baseman, making a good play. And throw over to first base to get the first out. Well done by Jed Huffman on the diving play. And that is 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
Our next for the Lumberjacks, right fielder number 4, Cooper Nider.
Now here comes Cooper Nider. Now, if there's any guy who can get things going, it's Cooper Nider. He's reached on all 4 at-bats, including a 2-run RBI back in the 6th inning, a 2-run or a RBI double in the 3rd, and then a single also in the 3rd to lead things off in that 9-run inning. Here's the first pitch to Nider, and that is outside for ball 1. Tracy takes a second to step off the bag. He'll now get back onto the rubber. Nider will step back into the box. Nider looking for his 4th hit of the game. Here's the 1-0 pitch from Tracy, and that is inside for ball 2. Infield playing deep for Nider. The 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss for strike 1. Two 2-1 from Tracy, and that ball is fouled back out of play. Count now 2-2. Nider was able to bring this game back within 2 runs. The bases loaded. Here's the 2-2 from Tracy. Swing and a miss by Nider. Powerful fastball strikeout, and the Jacks are down to their final out here in the 8th. That's going to bring up the top of the order with Kyler Vaughn.
Now for the Lumberjacks, center fielder number 18, Kyler Vaughn.
Vaughn will step into that righty's batter's box. The lone home run of the game for the Jacks. A 3-run shot back in the 3rd inning to score the 7th, 8th, and 9th run of that inning. First pitch is in there for strike 1 from Jack Tracy, who is really working here over the last couple of innings since coming in. Tracy looks in. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that is low for ball 1. Vaughn back into the box. Count tied 1-1. 2 outs. Bottom of the 8th inning. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Tracy, and that is outside, and Vaughn wanted to swing at it, did well to hold off. That's ball 2. Count now 2-1. Tracy looks in, finds his pitch. And here's the delivery. That ball chopped foul back towards the BeeJays dugout. Count now 2-2 with 2 outs. Jacks need to dig deep and find some magic here, trailing by 10 down to their final strike. Tracy looking to go back-to-back strikeouts to end this one. Vaughn trying to keep this game alive. The 2-2 pitch is chopped to the second baseman. Huffman's going to come up to make the play, flip it over to Finnegan, and that is the end of the 8th inning, and that is the end of the ball game as the Jacks get run ruled here in the 8th inning. They fall to the BeeJays for the second consecutive night. Tonight, final score 22-12 from Rock Canyon High School. 8-run top of the 8th inning, anchored by 4 home runs for the BeeJays. The difference in this one, the Jacks fought hard at the beginning, brought this game all the way back from 10-0 to 10-9, tied this game back up in the 6th inning. But too much power for this BeeJays team as they take both games in this throwback series presented by Vitality Chiropractic.
A brand new Vitality hoodie.
That's going to do it for our broadcast here from Rock Canyon High School for the Rocky Mountain Baseball League and the Colorado Lumberjacks. I'm Ben Canvasser. Thank you so much for joining us. Jacks back in action tomorrow at 4:30 from All-Star Park. Game will be broadcasted on the Colorado Lumberjacks YouTube channel. Stick around. Hopefully the Jacks have more tomorrow night. Thank you again so much from Rock Canyon High School. Thank you for watching this presentation of the Colorado Lumberjacks.